and welcome to another edition of Coffee Talk with immigration attorney Brian D. Lerner. In this particular episode, I'd like to talk about what's referred to as a bona fide marriage exemption. Now, let me just tell you what that is. Whenever people come into my office and they say, "Yeah, we're married for real. It's a legal marriage." Well, that's not what bona fide marriage means. For immigration purposes, bona fide marriage doesn't dispute that you're legally married, except under immigration law, you have to show that, in fact, basically the foreign national married you for purposes of love, not to get the green card. Okay? And there's different ways of showing that. There's ways of determining whether or not it is in fact real for purposes of love. And the way that we show that is through declarations, affidavits. We look at the evidence of communication, Instagram posts, pictures. If you For example, what some people do is they'll attach like 200 pictures of their wedding, and that's all they're going to show. Well, that doesn't really show a bona fide marriage. It just shows you took a bunch of pictures at a wedding. So there has to be evidence which would indicate that, in fact, it is true love. And every case is different. There's not one single template that can be used. Now, what you also have to be aware of is, for example, if you or someone gets put into deportation proceedings and then gets married, they have to pass what's called the bona fide marriage exemption, which essentially is what I just told you, except it is even more evidence that is needed, because it is assumed that if you're already in deportation proceedings, that the only reason you're getting married is to avoid deportation proceedings. So let me just exaggerate. Let's say you get put into deportation on day 1, you meet somebody on day 2, and day 5 you get married. Okay, that's going to be almost and virtually impossible to prove that you did not marry that person in order to avoid deportation. Rather, a lot of people ask me, they go, well, how long should we wait in order for it to seem real? Well, the answer differs. A lot of times people do only know each other for 6 months and then they get married. A lot of times they've only seen each other 2 or 3 times and then they get married. So just because the red flag goes up, that that the marriage might not be bona fide as far as immigration is concerned, doesn't mean it can't be proven. Okay, it just means we have to work harder to prove it. There's other factors that show red flags, and one of those is, for example, if the age difference is quite a lot. I once had a petition where the male was like 25 years old and the female was in her 60s, and yet I got it approved because we gave overwhelming evidence of the legitimacy and bona fides of the marriage. You can't, for example, just respond back and say, well, the marriage is real, I love her, or I love him. That's it. Okay. There needs to be a lot more than that. The story needs to be given. The chain of events need to be drawn out, and the facts need to be pulled in order to show that, in fact, this is a real bona fide marriage. So this is a real issue in immigration law, and it comes up all the time. So if you have questions or would like it further explained, give my office a call, and we do offer a free consultation on immigration. If you like the video, click like, subscribe, and more on the coming videos. Thank you.